Oh, welcome to the Pop Pub and Pub Pop, featuring your hosts, Daytachi, Hazel, Joey Badass, Kiko, Keisha, and reporting live from another just business, Raymond. Hey everybody, welcome to the Pop Pub and Pub Pop. It's another fun-filled week, and tonight we are talking about how we were raised, our upbringing. We want to know how you was raised, your upbringing, how you was brought up, your morals, all that good shit. What really matters to you, Keisha?
Yes. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my God.
I was raised by both my parents.
Lucky.
They were married, oh my God, 50, 60 years before my dad passed. So we were raised as Jehovah's Witnesses, which means we had we had no Christmas.
Me too, Keisha. Girl, I was raised Jehovah's Witness.
Me too.
I've never been in a room with this many Jehovah's Witnesses at the same time.
I didn't know I was. All right, go ahead.
Okay, and so we were just family oriented. We always did family stuff together. Wherever parents went, we went, even as we got older. So how everything changed, yes, Lord, everything changed. I'm no longer a witness. Okay, I celebrate Christmas. I celebrate all holidays, and I did have kids very, very early, which they don't believe in that. So yeah, at 17.
They stopped talking to you. What they call
did. They kicked me. Yeah.
They mother had to sit in the room in the front and couldn't nobody in the congregation speak to her. They couldn't even talk to her.
No, they couldn't do that.
Yeah, they couldn't talk to
you. No, you have to be baptized.
Okay.
Oh, if you're baptized, then they can't talk to you.
Yeah, if you baptized and you do something outside of the congregation.
Is baptism different than it is in Christianity?
Well, it is Christianity.
It's the same
only
thing.
difference really is they feel like Jehovah's Witnesses, Jehovah is God's name.
Yeah.
So
Jehovah
you don't.
Jireh.
Right. That's why they
Yeah,
say like that's God's name. But as far as God's Witnesses, but some of the stuff was different as far as not celebrating Christmas because it was a pagan holiday, and then some of they did teach. I still live by. I'm not a witness, but some of the stuff was.
Yeah, because I skipped the baptizing part, and they were so evil about it.
Okay, so you was Jehovah's Witness too?
No, he was raised Jehovah's
And you
Witness.
too?
No, hell.
Oh, I thought you said you was
Me.
Kiko.
Joey.
Okay, so Joey, Badass, Kiko, not Keisha, and Ramon, all Jehovah's Witnesses. So what were you raised? What religion?
Baptist.
Baptist. And Hazel?
Christianity, non-denomination.
So let me throw a curveball in here and let y'all know this. My adoptive mother was a Jehovah's Witness. My adoptive father was Baptist. So I had both. So we went to both services. I went to a Baptist service on Easter and all of those holidays. And on Saturdays and some Sundays, I would end up going to Jehovah's Witness stuff. Like we would do the whole walk around with the watchtowers and the wakes and have the Bible study and have the song. But the weirdest thing.
Y'all did that?
Yeah, but the weirdest thing.
Bible stories.
I hate that damn book. And that damn song book
Number
that
15.
everybody had to have.
Till mine dies.
What's up, Riri?
I'm sorry. As a Christian, that's too much.
But no, with Jehovah's Witnesses, how in Baptist and non-denominational services, they have the children's Bible. In Jehovah's Witness, we do have those, and ours do have pictures and all that different stuff. So what's up? What you gotta ask me?
I just want to say.
I think that's perfect for kids because I still read
It really does.
It catches your attention.
I'm sorry.
That's how I learned all the 12
I'm
kids
sorry.
of jokes.
What's up?
That's too much.
What you mean by too much?
Okay, so
It is Christian. It's the same.
but so
a
y'all were heavy in the church growing up.
Yes.
See,
Christians can be heavy too.
were you heavy in the church? Would you say growing up?
I'm different. For me, when in my teenage year, I was in the church while my family was sitting up saying, "F that." I'm at home. So my passion, I'm being serious.
Y'all, when she
I'm
invite me to the
honest.
cookout, don't look at me crazy.
Hazel, that happened to me though.
But my connection with church was a little bit different, and the reason for my connection through church in that time of my life was different. My purpose was different for being a part of that experience. So, again, as a Christian, that's too much.
So I wasn't raised in church either. Like,
We wasn't.
But you know, like my aunt.
Granny.
Yeah, she
My
always
granny.
taught us, you know, about
That was enough.
You know, God, Jesus.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It sounds really cliche the way I'm saying it right now. I'm sorry, but like we grew up learning about
She
God.
taught us about the Bible.
Yeah.
And she also, you
But we
know,
didn't go to
gave
church
us,
every Sunday.
Right. We didn't go to church every Sunday, but she also, you know, taught us scriptures to relate to life, to teach us and guide us things of what we should do and what we should not do.
Okay.
And what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
So Kiko, how were you raised in church? Like, did your family go, or was it?
I'm gonna be honest, my family went to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Thursday.
Every
We
Wednesday,
went
every
all the
Thursday.
Bible study, choir
Yeah, we
rehearsal.
went like
You
that.
daggone right.
Okay.
Every day of the week we possibly could be in church, we were there.
What's that church?
But I didn't necessarily like it, and because I was well aware as a kid of shit that I shouldn't have been well aware of. You know what I'm saying?
Speak that shit,
I was
sis.
literally going. I was a nosy kid, so I was walking around the church. You know, after the church is over, black people stay in church for like another 3 hours.
And you saw them Captain in the bed.
No,
That's true as
no.
hell.
Let me.
No, it's just
let
we
me
stay in
hear.
church for like an extra 3 hours after it's
Just
over.
congregating,
Just
just-
congregating.
Yeah.
And I would literally walk around, you know, just listening to each person congregate, and I would hear one group talking about another group, and the other group talking about another group.
That
You
didn't
saw that
sit.
Two-Face
And the
and
other
stuff.
group
You
talking
didn't-
about
that
another
didn't
group.
sit with you
And
too
then
well,
it
did
sit
it?
with me well. And then on top of that, I seen like, you know, what I knew as a 7-year-old kid was flunkies for the preacher, trying to sit as close to the pulpit as possible. And so it was just like, what is this? This is like a circus for some just drama.
Drama?
Like,
That's
yeah,
true.
it's like a
You know what?
circus for drama.
Kiko, it's funny that
That's
you say
crazy
that
she
because
say that.
you go to church. People who go to church for what, right? Why do you go to church?
Praise,
No,
saving.
For
for
spiritual.
saving.
You would-
Because
you would
something's
think-
wrong with you.
You would think it's for spiritual healing.
It's for healing.
It's not-
Because
they
something
not there to
is
heal though, bro.
something
That's
is
why I
wrong
talked to-
with
I talked
them.
to him
You know,
in
it's
my
not.
own-
To be honest with you, Willie, I don't think that is them.
Daytachi.
Daytachi. I'm sorry. That's my cousin. Daytachi. I don't think it's them. I think it's the structure of what they've been taught.
I was just about to say
If that makes any sense, it's the structure.
So,
And I feel like that's in every religion.
Yeah, it's in every religion.
Yes.
And growing up, going to 2 different churches, and then having to do my own soul searching and do my own research. I had my grandmother who was just here. She was raised Catholic. She went to Catholic school and all of that, but now she's a Hebrew Israelite.
Wow.
And so there's 4 different religions that have been brought into my life that have been someone has tried to teach to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go and I read the Bible, I had to read it and ask for my own understanding.
As you should.
As well. Yes.
Because when you're in there and you're listening to a pastor and a preacher, yes, what can we all say up here? When we go to a Baptist church, when we go to a Jehovah's Witness church, they only call out a certain few of sin. And them the ones that they try to put on the pedestal and make you feel like those are the worst.
so I gotta ask, and I'm gonna start with you, Raymond.
Okay.
Because how much? Because y'all all brought up religion. When I said how were you raised, everybody went to religion first.
No,
And it's-
I just followed
No, but
suit,
no.
that
I
wasn't
use
what I was
context.
in.
Joey,
Okay.
open it up then.
Joey, open it up.
How was you raised?
Actually,
No, but-
No, Keisha, open it up.
So I want to segue that because how much of religion and church influence your upbringing, your morals, your values, how your parents raised you, how your parents treated you? What the
Okay.
hell happened to Hazel?
Y'all, Hazel is drunk.
She got up and left in the middle of
Y'all, she fell on the floor, y'all. My God.
What happened, Joey?
she is like on the floor.
Oh, this bitch is.
Yeah. Oh my god.
She jumped to
And she down there trying to eat that pizza.
trying to eat off.
Shot her. I shot her.
Young Zero on the track. Hey.
Dice is on the beat.
It's tax season. The IRS cutting checks for no reason. Where that money at? Yeah, it's tax season. The IRS cutting checks for no reason. Time to go to bed, time to do your checks for no reason. It's tax season, you gon' do it or what? And I need my W-2s, you gon' send it or what? Want a brand new whip, all black, gotta be new body. Pay off this holiday debt and get a new body. Writing off my kids, then you knew about it. Expensive schedule C's for a few thousand. Where the bosses, where the teachers, where the moms at? Where the artists, where the hustles, where the sweats at? Put me a few thousand in a savings account. Prepare my credit, start my business, then you know what we bout. Selling makeup, driving around in Uber accounts. It's a crazy pandemic, getting paid in the house. For no reason. It's tax season. The IRS cutting checks for no reason. Where that money at? It's tax season. The IRS cutting checks for no reason. Time to go to bed, time to do your tax. Time to get a bed, time to do your tax. Where money at? Yeah, it's tax season. The IRS cutting checks for no reason.
So what I was getting to, because everybody brought up religion as the ground, like the ground level of how they were raised and what they were brought up on and all their morals. So how much of religion do you think contributed to the way your parents brought you up and what they taught you?
Not as much as my parents thought they did.
Oh. Well, let's start with Ramon. How much?
So with me, they did show me love. I did grow up in a household with a husband and a wife. And when my father passed away, my mother died as a widow. So with that, I grew up seeing what true love was. It wasn't the arguments of like him stepping out or her stepping out. I grew up with happiness. Okay. Now, as far as religion, as like to where I am now, it really didn't play a part because growing up, I didn't know the struggle. Because I didn't have to live it.
So what would you say grounds you?
Now, what keeps me grounded is when me and Chris lost everything in the fire, and for us to start over with nothing. Like, only thing we had was the closing our bank. I felt like there was God taking away everything that we had to give us a fresh start. Because before then, I wasn't living right, and there was some things that I did. Like, I done stole before. I done did like that. I done did like crazy shit that I wasn't supposed to do. And to come home and see that everything was gone and to bounce back, that's the only thing I had to fall back on, was my faith. Like, I had to believe in something.
You gotta believe in something.
And if you don't believe in something, when you're going through something, what do you fall back on?
Getting teary-eyed.
I ain't gonna cry, no. But it's like if you don't believe in something, what do you have to fall back on? And I think God did. Chris was there.
You fall for nothing if you don't have anything.
Yeah, so, and I'm glad that Chris was there because I was able to feed off of him and he was able to feed off of me.
Yeah.
And we was able to overcome it. And now I look at it as every day I'm gonna get up and do right. Every day I'm gonna get up and be there for somebody how I wish somebody would be there for me. So that's why I do what I do.
Lord jeez, I'll drink to that.
Y'all play so much.
That's so.
But that's
y'all. Can y'all see the tears in this man's eyes?
He can't
Play
do
so
tears.
much.
All right, please. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I love that. I
We're
love
not doing
that.
that. Kiko, please.
If it did influence me, it didn't influence me in the way my parents thought it did.
Bitch.
I'm just saying, because I was a nosy kid. Like, I was too advanced in my mind for a kid's place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally hung around my mom's shop around adults. I hung around adults all the time. So when I wasn't in school, I was around grown folks. So I learned how to pick up on conversation. So me walking around church, listening to like different circles talk about each other inside the church, I'm like, this supposed to be God's house, and y'all supposed to be God's children, saying all this stuff about each other in His house. Like,
So
you know what I'm saying?
if that didn't influence you, then like what grounds you now?
I mean, what grounds me now is knowing that there is a higher power. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a God, or a lot of this stuff wouldn't have been created. And I just feel like I talk to Him. I don't have to go to a specific place. I feel like He's everywhere because He's in me. So if I decide to go anywhere, I could be in the middle of a mosh pit and I want to talk to God, I'm going to talk to God right then and there because He's in me. I can just close my eyes.
You better.
And talk to Him. You know what I'm saying? And then if it's the fact of me being literally in the middle of my bed or in the middle of watching some gruesome ass show, I could literally just be like, oh, Jesus. Let me just real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even be funny, but like real quick. Like, you know what I mean? I don't feel like a certain place has to be the place, because I feel like that's what brought the fake to it for me. It's like when they got into this certain place, they tried to have this certain persona.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, why? Why you can't act like that all the time? Like, if this is who you are, then be who you are all the time.
With me and my upbringing, well, I wasn't really raised in church, so I can't really say that they had much influence. My parents did not take us to church every Sunday, but for some reason I was still raised to think the same thing that y'all think, like have the same beliefs that y'all believe. You know, I was raised Christian Baptist.
It was letting you didn't have to have church to have the moral.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying.
But because I feel like you have to have a personal relationship with God anyway. So in order to just to talk to him, you don't have to be in
to put a label on anything.
And to what she was saying, going to church, I did not start going to church until I got way older, like in my 20s, like Hazel did. And I started seeking a different relationship or something. Is that what you were doing, Hazel?
I was trying to.
I felt like I was trying to find something or get a different experience.
An illusion. I was chasing an illusion.
I didn't say all that. But yeah.
Let's just no, I'm sorry. Let's just be clear about it. It's an illusion.
What?
All right. Well, Keisha, like how well, I could tell that it had an influence on your upbringing. I mean, you said they kicked you out at 17.
Right, because I had a baby.
Because they had an illusion.
But, I still went for a little while, and then I just stopped going. Then I started going to church. So my cousin was a preacher, so I started going to a church, like in College Park, which was amazing. So, and then I feel like bringing my kids up in church, it gave them a different outlook. They didn't have to, worry about nobody talking to them, getting kicked out of the congregation. I feel like churches or different other religions, they actually embrace, not that you're doing wrong, but they embrace if you have issues, because nobody is perfect, period.
Okay.
Nobody.
So I feel like I try to instill that in my kids, so that way they wouldn't feel some type of way. Just when other people say different things, or like we have aunts and I don't know, but I'm just saying
you got judgmental family
that are still like in the religion. But now, as a grown woman, now I speak with my older grown aunts, and now we have an understanding, but we just had to get to that understanding about it.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Well, Joey Badass, how much did that influence your childhood, the religion, and growing up as a Jehovah's Witness? And
well, we were Jehovah's Witness, but the majority of my family did the Baptist and the Apostle. What is it? Like it's a lot of denominations. So I was mixed.
Okay. So y'all
during the summer we would go like be with my grandfather and be Baptist, and then Methodist. So it was different. But I think the whole point that my mom was trying to distill in us is have our own relationship, or giving us a path. She was trying to show us ways that we can release. But as I grew older, I kind of went against everything that I was taught, as you can see, because I just felt like religion was giving me that docile edge. Like, growing up, I was taught like I was really submissive. Like people could run over me, or like that ball game strategy where the first time someone does something to you, you go tell. Then the second time you tell them to stop.
Turn the other
then
cheek.
the third time you do something. Like the world's changed now, so I done changed.
Definitely.
You don't get to go past the home base.
You don't get to
before I chop you. And so a lot of stuff I had to just instill on myself. Like so I would say like. It gave me my foundation, but I done tweaked my foundation, so now I have a re-foundation to go off of. So
I like that.
That's what it is.
Okay. Come on, Joey.
And Hazel, how much of what religion did your childhood? How much influence did it have on your childhood?
Religion ain't taught me shit. Move on to the next subject.
Wow.
All right.
Right.
Well,
Just like that. Think about religion like this, right? I'm about to mess with y'all minds real quick. Think about religions like this. No, think about religions like this. Have y'all ever played the game telephone?
No.
Yes.
Exactly. Wait, let me say this.
She's
so
right.
The game of telephone is if you were to say something into my ear, right? I'm supposed to reach over and say the same thing into his ear and so on until it gets to the last person. And the last person is supposed to be able to yell out exactly what you said, right? If you've ever
But we ain't call it that.
Wait, pause. If you've ever played the game of telephone, you know for a absolute fact, the shit at the end is never what the fuck they say at the beginning. So, mind you, if that telephone, the game is only played with like about 10 people, right?
Years.
So if you're trying to tell me that from people from 300 BC, before Christ, right? 300 BC, all the way until 2021, that's the year we're in right now, that everything, mind you, this is where I'm gonna give you the kicker, that everything is the same.
No.
Including being translated.
No.
Absolutely not.
From Hebrew.
And that's where there's so many different Bibles with different versions, and they say different stuff.
To being a New Testament rewritten, you mean to tell me nothing was changed each time the story was told
not what
or written?
I'm saying. It's
like
different.
in my mind, I'm saying this is the main reason why I just say I know there's a higher power because something created all of this.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm just like I just talk to him from in here.
And we'll be back after these messages.
Makes me wonder, do the other niggas really love it when I'm under? I keep my guns up, never will I let a hater have me one up. Shawty on the line, got me, shawty on the line. Rollie for my time.
I want each one of y'all to tell me how much you've changed and how much your values and morals have changed since you were a child.
I'll go first.
And
go, Joe.
Go, Joe.
My mama was to see the person I become today. It's not the person that she raised. And actually, that's just the way it is because I'm that bitch mama. I'm that bitch mama. Now, life has changed and I run by my own rules now. And sometimes when I go home and I reflect my new rules, my mama don't like it. But guess what?
Joey,
I'm grown and it's just too bad.
Period.
Because of that, though.
I love you, mama.
How hard was it for you to move past whatever you were taught?
I'm sure
Not
it was very
hard.
hard.
So let me tell you.
Joey, it was hard.
No, it was not. No. I'm giving you 100. A buck 50.
A lot, Joey. You gonna sit up and say that?
It wasn't hard. Let me tell you. So see what happens is as kids, and I think y'all all can relate, when you under your parents' house, it's not it's what they say it goes. There's no explanation, there's no reason why. Especially in a black family, it's because I said so. So when you go on and you become your own individual person, it's hard to break the cycle.
Yes, it is.
But actually it's not. Because as you go on and you be it by yourself, you develop your own rules and how you maintain your royalty. As black people, we're behind the curve because we don't really officially know ourselves like the white people can because they kids telling them how they want. Why, mommy? And because, baby, this is this and this and this. And so we go on our own.
Wait, let Joey finish. Joey on something. Where were you going with this, Joey?
No, but I was just saying, like, as I was by myself, I was able to really distinguish who I was as a person. But as I saw being around fellow people, they was ahead of the game because they already knew who the they was.
Exactly.
And so it's like I was playing catch up, but when I became who I was, what you see as me as that live in color, right now, I'm that. But it took work to get there. Like I
that's
mean,
why I know how hard was it. Like you had two different types of upbringings from two different types of people. It seems like So
I did.
And then it seems like you just went totally left because you just disclosed a lot of stuff earlier about what you did when you grew up.
I'm gonna be honest. So my dad is like Italian, Portuguese, and black, and my mom is black, Irish, and Indian, right? But my mom is a predominantly black upbringing from Mississippi. My dad was born and raised in Detroit, but at the same time, like they lived in Indiana a lot when I was born and raised and all that other stuff, right? So
how much have you changed since then? Well,
so be honest.
It sounds like you changed a lot.
From then to now, to be honest, then I was more. I had to go and I had to do. I was structured to do certain things because I was too young to make my own decisions to do certain things. Yeah. But now that I can make my own decisions, I'd rather not go to church because I feel like it's a fake place full of fake people.
So I have a question.
What's up?
It's like raising kids, and raising your own kids.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do the same?
Would you apply that same thing that your parents applied to you, or would you go about?
I honestly would be slightly different, but I would still apply the same
values.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So it's like, it's like I wouldn't necessarily make my kids go to church, but we would pray every night before we go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Type thing. Like, we would pray before we eat our food, and we would pray. You know what I'm saying? Certain things like that. But I wouldn't make them go to church because 9 to 10, a kid don't want to do nothing but sleep during church anyway. I was only up for the music.
I feel like, well, again, I wasn't raised in the church like that. I did go. It was since a time where we did go to church. Like I remember times where like we were going to church heavy, but it was always like for a certain period of time and then we stopped. So. But my mom was more of the person you could talk to. My dad was more of the person that you couldn't.
Period.
Military too. That had a lot to do how you was raised.
I was raised very military more than anything. But still with those religious values, like I was raised, to think that certain things were wrong that I don't think that are wrong today. For me personally, I think that I've changed a lot. Like as far as how I'm still a very I guess meek person, like very like to myself, but I think that I've kind of like grew up a little bit where I'm a little more outward. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a little more loud because I was not allowed. Like my daddy literally, a child was to be seen and not heard. That type of stuff. Like that's how I was raised.
Opposite.
But
I don't nothing. Sit down.
Speak when spoken to. Okay.
But see, that was a trickster. That was a trickster rule. Speak when spoken to. Because sometimes they didn't want you to speak when you were spoken to.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I was spoken to.
They be like, you don't like it? But I do keep a lot of those core values as far as like, and I think that's what religion was meant for. It just got construed,
structure. You think religion brought structure into you?
No. I think that's what it was meant for, like the intention. But what people twisted it up for in their own, you know what I'm saying?
Make you docile. If you get hit, turn the other cheek. That type of. It was made by
that new Bible that y'all was reading was made by your master for you to follow whatever he told you.
Okay, I've definitely changed. We were brought up, definitely wasn't cussing back then. I cuss like hell now. So I know we were brought up not to have sex before marriage. Of course, I had a kid.
But we did that. Because that's a part of being human.
I'm more outspoken, and I did talk to my kids a lot more. We were able to talk to our parents, but I think I talked to my girls, and I'm like a lot closer to my girls. And I don't know if that's because I had kids early. I'm not sure, but and we kind of grew together. But I do talk to them a lot more, and they get a chance to talk to me.
I love that.
They can ask any and everything.
I love that.
And they're gonna get an answer.
Can I say something?
I'm not gonna lie.
Can I say something? I really want to say something.
I really like that though.
I really want to say something. I think that's a beautiful thing. Miss Keisha said that they grow together, because I feel like growing up for me, my parents couldn't admit that it was a process of them growing.
Yeah, no,
and
mine
trying
either.
to learn. For me, it is what it is, and them not knowing better, like they didn't make that aware.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Do you think it's pride?
They wouldn't dare.
I think it is pride, but I also think that that's unfair because you didn't have an understanding at that time as a parent. You misguided me.
Right.
And that's where that cycle comes.
You see what I'm saying? And now
that's where learning for yourself comes from.
That's what learning from yourself comes from.
Because remember how I said everybody kept telling me like certain things about the church, but I went to the church and ended up seeing people talk about each other.
Different. You saw different for yourself in your path, which is part of the reason why I don't want to have kids. I feel like none of our parents strayed different.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? As far as the guidelines of religion, as far as the guidelines of politics, none of our parents questioned or tried to show us different or step beyond, you know, to... I feel like I wasn't taught the things that I needed to be taught.
Neither one of my parents was like lovey-dovey. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up like a byproduct of love from non-lovers, if that makes sense. Like my mom has never heard...
see that.
You're everything with your parents.
Literally, like my mom has never heard the words "I love you" from her own mother. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Damn.
Never ever heard it. You know what I'm saying?
And then that passed,
I've heard it
on
from
to
my grandma
you.
and my mother.
Okay.
I've heard it from both my grandma and my mom's mom. I've heard it from my mom's mom, and I've heard it from my.
So do you think they overpoured it to you to handicap?
No, I feel like because my mama never got it, she didn't know how to give it. So it was always like I was I was born a lovey-dovey person. So I would be like, want to lay up with my mom, and she'd be like, it's hot. Like she's not used to people being out on her. Like get off. You know what I'm saying? And then my dad was kind of affectionate, but he was so hard. Like when it came to like world stuff, like don't do that. Like like everything was like a hard way of saying stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's so funny because I became a byproduct of love. Like I am a big lover.
But then that put you above the rest, like as far as your exterior being tough. You were tough skinned.
Yeah, right? It depends on what you mean. Majority of the time I was tough. Like I could lose, if that means. I was a great loser, if that means anything. So like I won just like I lost. So if I won something, it would be literally just like I lost something. Like I would literally lose the same way. So I would be happy for the other person that won.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
So Ramon, have you changed growing up?
Yeah, I changed a whole lot. Attitude wise, like my attitude used to be horrible, and I used to always fight. I always running from the police. All it like I was that neighborhood kid. Yeah, and it was like 17. Like I was the only gay boy hanging out with 17 straight boys. When I tell you, I'm talking about running the street, everything. I was the only gay boy. I was hard as hell. And then something just like a switch overnight. It was like, you is not like them. Like, you would rather be in the house cooking. Like, you would rather be in the house watching some Buffy the Vampire Slayer or some shit.
Oh, God.
Like, why are you outside with them boys?
Do any of y'all have any moments that you could think that made you who you are today?
Yeah.
Like any specific moment?
I do.
Growth.
Let's roll them down from left to right. What do you think it was?
Get my ass whooped by my mama.
Oh God.
I swear to God, I had a moment where Ramon said, well, I was just immature, and then had a moment like where, damn, I don't want to keep getting my ass whooped like this. So let me just stop fucking with my brothers and see how that gonna work. And when I stop fucking around my brothers, I stop getting less ass whoopings.
Makes sense. Joey Badass, what do you think you could like name as that thing that made you who you are?
My rebelness. I think growing up, I was always a troublemaker. So like I was in ISS half the time that I was in school, like fighting, whipping all the time. Like
I was down for that.
I was just always in trouble. But I think it took a teacher to really reach out to me to make me change my ways.
Ooh, I feel that.
Like it was a teacher that reached out to me and really started, and that's when I kind of got into like equine science and horseback riding and shit. It It was like a outlet for me, and I think that's what kind of really was my pivotal moment where I became. Y'all remember? Y'all know what I'm about.
Can I ask you something?
I became what?
I know exactly.
I became what?
Joey, bad. I want to ask you this, Joey. Joey, I love you.
Oh, love me too.
Joey, what teacher of that subject made you tap in?
Actually, it was my 5th grade teacher, Miss Gregory. I was in Washington. No,
Hey, Miss Gregory.
I was overseas. And what I liked about Miss Gregory is I love science. So Miss Gregory had like iguanas, she had walking sticks, she had mealworms, she had like hissing cockroaches.
She was a
like
teacher
Miss
that went
Frizzle.
beyond.
She was like Miss Frizzle, y'all. And she taught me like a lot
She
of
went
stuff.
beyond.
Yeah, my grades had started. That's from there. I was like a 4.0 student till I graduated high school.
seriously.
Like
Wow.
I was good, but I was beating before that. Like it changed like drastically. Like,
Wow.
it was Miss Gregory.
Thank you, Miss Gregory.
Yeah.
Thank you, gracias, Mama
Keisha,
Mita.
What did it like? What's that moment for you, a person or a certain thing that you think made you who you are today?
I would say having a kid at 17 and having to push a kid out with no medicine.
Ho.
Yeah.
I'm playing. I'm just talking shit.
At 17?
What the hell ever. Yeah. But I feel like, and then with the father not being there, I feel like I grew up really fast.
You had to.
I did. I had to. So that changed a lot. Just having a baby, it changed a lot in my life.
Especially being black. Because mama, I ain't taking care of that.
My mom was not like that.
Oh, she wasn't?
Oh, my mom went shopping immediately. They were ready for grandkids.
Oh.
Yeah. They were ready for
Mines
grandbabies.
told me they were gonna disown me.
Well, they wasn't happy that I was 17. However, they were
your mama
happy
gonna
for
see
the
this.
baby.
Okay, so what about you, they taught you?
I think what made me the person I am today, sadly,
It's daddy.
is betrayal. Like people like stabbing me in my
She didn't know this.
Well, let's sit back.
what?
Who did that to you?
I mean,
She ready to murder somebody. Sit back, cousin.
I've had a lot of people betray me. I've had people that I was so close to that just like I would never have thought that we would not be close. You know what I'm saying? And certain things, certain people that I trusted betrayed me, and that actually changed me and my outlook and the way that I behave towards people.
Let me ask
know
you
what I'm
this:
saying?
was it family or friends?
Both. I think family probably that was the first betrayal. Family betrays you first.
Yes.
But you learn you're told and taught to forgive
From
family
friends.
no matter what.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
I don't like when your family hurts you and you have the people say, but that's your cousin, but that's your brother. But
That don't
that's
make
your
it
aunt."
okay.
I don't give a
Don't have any intention on
Right.
changing or ever doing better or trying to make the relationship a better relationship, and we're forced in family to deal with it, and I think that's really sad.
I don't like that.
But I
It's
actually
not fair.
appreciate that part.
No.
Because,
Really?
Yeah, because you gotta
'cause
work
you're
with
still
toxic people
family.
at work. You
But
you
that's
can't just
different.
out-
But that's
Joey.
work. Bullshit.
Family is your first love. Family and going places is what teach you how to deal with outside in society. So if you are accepting bullshit from your family, you're
gonna
gonna accept
accept some
bullshit
from
from
the
people that's out
outside.
here in the world.
That's
If you got family that's hurting
No?
No,
Keisha
that's
disagrees.
not true.
Okay,
Because
well, Miss
what
Keisha?
I take off of my kids, my sisters, or my
So you have
brother, or my
surrogates.
cousins, or whatever. What I take off of them, whatever they do, you still love your family. You ain't gotta love a friend.
do you get a
or
surrogate or
associate.
no?
But what'd you say?
Do you get surrogates or no?
No.
Okay.
And so basically, you can still love your family. You just
Tell me what.
deal with them accordingly.
Okay,
That's
but-
right.
So a surrogate,
I like that, Miss Keisha.
A surrogate doesn't have to mean like a pregnant person, right? Somebody that has your baby. A surrogate could be any other, like if you had somebody in your family hurt you, you take it out on a surrogate. So a surrogate might be
I get
somebody
what you're saying.
out in the world that reminds you of that person or that does something that person does, and you take out what that family member did on you to that person.
I get what
Yeah,
you're saying.
no, I
Hurting your
don't do
family. So I
that.
was asking if you
I have to
understand.
tell that family member how I feel. First
Okay.
off, I feel like you have to be honest and so that way you can get past that, because you have to have a mutual respect.
Okay.
Who was we on? We on Kiko.
was on you, yeah.
Oh, we were still on me?
No,
'Cause
Will
betrayal
is
was
finished.
it.
Will just did?
I'm done.
Okay.
That's what made me who I am.
Well, this
Hurting my damn feelings, and I'm so nice.
You are awesome. You are.
So when I start seeing that people
That's
were
to be
not
determined.
like, but people did not mean me well, you know what I'm saying? And I had all these good intentions for people, and they didn't mean me the same. It changed my way of operating with people, and the way that I like it just tainted me. You know what I'm saying?
you
I
start treating people accordingly.
right.
You treat people the way they deserve to be treated.
Right.
So is they saying that you can't cut a family member all the way off just because you're gonna treat them accordingly?
I would not
I will
cut them
cut
off.
them motherfuckers
I
off.
would cut that off so quick they hit us.
I have. Let's say one member was your family member.
Sucking
and
a
one
little.
was a member of somebody that you had sexual relations with, right? Let's say they had sexual relations with each other while y'all two were having sexual
Which
relations.
I have. One of my
I've
cousins.
had that. One of my cousins too. That's what I'm saying.
proud of that.
Okay, you cut her off.
No,
And that's just all I'm saying. That's what I did.
No.
Wait, let's get her side.
I still, I will.
Girl,
check
about
with
stun
her.
cousin
I will
face.
check with her on Facebook, and if we have any type of family gathering,
I talked to her
can
sister.
still
Oh, well, you a
be-
strong motherfucker.
Well, Keisha, I didn't want to do this, but we have a guest today.
Keisha's cousin. Come on
Wait a
down.
minute. Keisha said she ready.
If she see this, she gonna know who the
Jerry.
What moment, what thing changed you and made you who you are?
Real life. I was a spoiled child. Though we didn't have a lot of money, I don't know how my mother did it, but I always got everything I wanted. Okay.
Okay.
Period.
I don't know how she did it, but I always got everything I wanted. And so real life for me made me
Realize you can't get everything you wanted.
not even just that. It just made me wake up and realize that it's different than in the house with your parents. You know what I'm saying? So like when it came to real life, I had to realize that people aren't going to be as nice. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't. They don't have to be nice. They
Or
don't have any
caring.
obligation to be nice to you, to be truthful and honest with you, to be on your side. Period. They don't have to. So therefore, I had to take real life and let that hit me over the head like a ton of fucking bricks, just to realize like people are not like the people that raised you. You know what I'm saying? The people that raised you had an obligation to raise you. They had an obligation to make sure you were safe. They had an obligation to make sure that you stayed alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's people out here in the world that don't give a you breathe today or tomorrow.
Well, let's talk about Ramon. What changed you and what made you, like, what was that thing?
Rock bottom.
You say a fire.
It was rock
I mean,
bottom.
I guess that is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he don't start crying again.
No,
but- okay,
no, rock
good.
bottom.
Because you almost
rock
made me
bottom
cry.
is what got me. And then I had a grandmother that told me ain't nothing worse than being an old and laying on somebody's couch begging a bump off of a cigarette. And when she told me that, I looked at her like, what?
Like that's not gonna be.
And she was like, ain't none. She was like, you out here and you doing this and doing it. And I was like, girl. And I had I had a few people in my life that was really good to me. I had some family members that were great. Like my Uncle Mark, he the one, that's why I'm out here cooking like this. My grandma is the reason I'm out here baking like this. I had a teacher, Miss Annie Collins and Miss Sharon Skelton, baby. They helped me along the way, baby.
I had a great time with y'all tonight. Y'all had a great time?
Yeah.
Your cup is empty. Look,
Everybody that still got some drink in their glass, we need to chug this.
y'all want to do it?
Yes.
We doing it?
Closing out. Come up.
Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram.
Good night, Pop.
Good night, Pop. Like, comment. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching Pop Pub TV. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like button, pop off in the comments, and subscribe so you could stay updated every time we upload a new video. Follow us on Instagram to stay updated on giveaways and future episodes of the Pop Pub at Pub Pop.